and welcome to another video tutorial. My name is Britta Swiderski, and this week I'll be showing you how to use some distress paint with some washi tape sheets. So this is washi tape that is just in sheet form. So it's basically one big sticker that has a transparent look to it. So we're going to make a background with some distress paints and then stick this yellow-orange pattern over the top of it. You see there's lots of clear space in there, so our pattern will show through. I want to keep my pattern nice and simple, so I'm just using 3 distress paints, and then I'm going to kind of swirl them together with my finger and see what happens. So I'm using some watercolor paper. This watercolor paper is from Simon Says Stamp, and you can see the list of all of the supplies in the description below this video or on the blog post, also linked in the video description below. And I'm just going to start using this cardstock because it's very thick and it can take a lot of wetness. So the paint is going to absorb very nicely into this paper. And we're going to start out by using spun sugar, picked raspberry, and spiced marmalade. I'm going to do my lightest color first, working on my craft sheet so that I don't have to worry about getting my little mat too messy. And I'm just going to spread some paint out over my work surface, working in kind of a triangular fashion. So I want an area of pink over here and then an area of pink down here. Next, I'll work with the spiced marmalade and do the same thing in different areas of the card. And then I'll do the picked raspberry. And notice that I worked from lightest to darkest so I don't have to worry about cross-contaminating the colors. This way, if I get a little bit of orange or a little bit of pink on my dark pink dauber, it's going to be perfectly fine. But you wouldn't want to get a ton of dark pink on the light pink one, even though you can just wipe that off. It just works best that way. Then I'm going to spray it with just a little bit of water and help the colors mix around. And I'm even going to go in with a little paintbrush here and kind of just help swirl things together. So just let this become its own masterpiece. Add more water, add more paint if you need to, and see what you can do. So I've kind of mixed everything together, and now I'm going to spray it again to mix everything together a little bit more, and then just make sure that everything is blending really nicely. And now I will let it dry. While our paint continues to dry, I'm going to go ahead and start working on my sentiment because I pretty much know how my background is going to look. It's going to look like this plus this. So it's going to be busy. So I want something that will be able to hold up. My sentiment will be able to be seen on it. So I'm going to use some vellum, which is one of my favorite tricks for using a sentiment with a busy background. And I'm going to use this die from Lawn Fawn. It's the 3rd biggest one, I believe. And it comes in this set of stackables. And I love these stars because they're a little bit puffy and they're really cute. I thought about using this size, but you know, I think I kind of like the smaller one. So I'm going to try that on some of this thicker vellum from Basil and cut it out with my die cut machine. So just run it through normal settings for wafer thin die. I'm going to go ahead and stamp on this using the YOLO set from Kelly Perky. I'm going to use this Why Hello There because I think that's pretty cute and pretty versatile for a card. And I think I want to stamp this with some white embossing powder. So I'm going to use this powder tool from EK Success first on my vellum, just to make sure that the embossing powder doesn't get a little bit too happy and stick everywhere on the star. And then I can go ahead and stamp this in Versamark. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some white embossing powder and then just use some tweezers to hold this while I emboss it so I don't get my fingers too warm. Alright, so my background is finally dry and I'm going to add my washi tape onto it. I've just cut out a piece of washi tape that's about 1/4 of an inch bigger on all sides, and I'm using this yellow pattern. And I'm just going to start off by getting the top started. You can kind of fold this plastic piece and then just try to stick it on here relatively straight, and then smooth it as you go down. Now that we have that relatively flat, I'm going to go in with a bone folder and really smooth this down so that the paint actually shows through. Alright, so as you see, I've flattened this down, but I don't really think the pattern is showing up that much. So I'm going to try it with some gold washi tape sheets instead. These are from Lifestyle Crafts, and this might give us a little bit of a different look. So let's see if I can take this off, and if not, I'll just, I guess, make a new background. So you can even slide it back onto the same backer sheet, and it's fine. I can totally reuse this again. And so now let's try it with the gold, and we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Looking much better. The pattern isn't quite as busy, so this will be perfect. Now I'll just kind of stick it down a little bit more just to get into that texture of the watercolor paper. And then I can just stick down these edges, fold them over the sides to make it very easy and very finished looking. And you can just trim it at the corners. So this is what the piece looks like, and I really love this look. So you get the whole pattern of the stripes, but you can still see this nice little watercolor effect almost through the back. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this onto my card using some foam adhesive. And now I can just go ahead and add my sentiment on top. And I have my hello there. I added some foam adhesive just behind where the embossing is completely opaque. And you can see I stamped my sentiment so that the star is a little bit, it's almost like it's dancing, which I really like. And I'm just going to leave it like this, nice and simple. Okay, just kidding. I want to add a couple stars. Since I'm already adding gold on here, why not add a few more gold stars? These are from Studio Calico, and they'll just create this nice little band across the card. And now there we have it. Nice little band of stars. You don't need to add them as an embellishment, but I thought it'd be really fun since we already incorporated the gold and the stars to bring in some more stars and some glitter, which is pretty fun. So I hope you enjoyed this different way to use distress paint as kind of a watercolor way as your base for creating something fun on top of it. So thanks so much for watching. For more tips and tricks, you can check out my YouTube channel and my blog, which will be linked in the description below or at the end of this video. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you again next time on another video tutorial.